What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed, born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video guys, I have several quite interesting news. First of all, I will show you some information about the recall lawsuit that was filed by Mark Basile in regards to his client Alnet Rates. On top of that, I will show you that potentially we might handle the problem of Statute of Limitations, and I will show you exactly how we can do it. Then I will continue with information of some of our community members, and I have to admit that this information might give us even more chances to add it to the lawsuit, actual lawsuit, and to have more chances to win the battle. And before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. And I want to begin today's video with this tweet that was reposted by Junk Savvy and that was originally made by MMTLP Doc. And MMTLP Doc wrote it on October 29th. And it says, I spoke to a securities attorney today. We had spoken right after the halt nearly 2 years ago. And they were involved in the Robinhood so-called buy button debacle. They mentioned the following: it's extremely hard to overcome the broker agreements. And the broker agreements is the contract that every one of us signed back in the days when we opened these accounts. And each and every broker, pretty much each and every broker has the paragraph which describes the relationships of broker-dealer and the client if something happens with the securities and if something happens with the actions that are surrounding the trading process. And all of these disagreements should be resolved via arbitration, and arbitration is not the best option for retail investors, and we all know that this process is not so transparent and potentially arbiters might have conflict of interests because every one of them are paid by FINRA, and FINRA allegedly is the part of these illegal actions because on the one hand they have to supervise all the actions that are happening on the stock market. On the other hand, they are trying to hide some sensitive information in order to have some benefits, and we know it, and we have a lot of evidence of these facts. On top of that, guys, I want to pay attention to this set of tweets. Let me show you that Scott wrote this tweet just yesterday, and he wrote it because of the tweet that was written by Due Diligence. And Due Diligence wanted to interrupt the Zoom call, or want to know the information that will be disclosed in the Zoom call that will happen somewhere within next 24 or 48 hours, and where Scott Todd will explain to some of community members how they should act in order to help him in his lawsuit. And here's the tweet that Scott wrote. Those of you attending the Zoom meeting tonight, please note, because Andrew Egone has openly solicited illegal recording and privacy violations at the meeting, common sense mandates that everyone will need to provide their full name, address and phone number to me, as well as agree to no recordings. As this meeting is done in anticipation of legal proceedings, its contents should remain private for a few days anyway. Egone's attempt to intimate, disrupt and distract the MMTLP shareholders through his regular bouts of narcissistic rantings and ravings is now the stuff of legends. I can honestly say this guy has phoned, texted and DM'd me ever since I began my own legal odyssey. I have responded exactly twice. He is the ultimate control freak, or in the alternative, as they say in court, he is the ultimate controlled freak. He is in a league with Makodit and Burda, and that to me is a very demonstrably bad thing at this point, as the evidence continues to pile up that this was one huge fraud from the get-go. Yes, Makodi gets more questions shortly regarding the books, the leases and the money, as well as confirming who he controls in the X community via NDAs. And this is quite interesting statement because just recently I found out the information that Bird Lady was paid by Greg McCabe and she signed an NDA agreement and she basically promoted MMTLP shares back in the days when it was tradable. And potentially this is another add-on to the case of the pump and dump scheme, and definitely we have to separate both of them. One case is the U3 halt and the second one is the pump and dump actions that were performed by some unknown, let's put it this way, unknown person, because as long as we don't have a judge's decision on this case, we cannot say that someone is guilty. That is why, guys, be careful with your statements, and we just have some evidence that potentially some of our community members were involved in these illegal actions. So let me quote you further. So, stand by, those of you who are attending might be interested in pursuing new litigation. I have no filter to know intentions, but I have a case number already with law enforcement based on Yeganich's stated intentions to violate a few states, California and Vermont, as he lives in California and I live in Vermont laws. It crossed state lines, so in addition, Los Federales have been notified too. So if you do Yeganich's bidding, it comes with a huge delta in the risk-reward department. So guys, definitely for now we have to be very cautious not only outside of MMTLP community, but we have to be cautious inside our MMTLP community as well. And let me show you that Brian, in response to this tweet, wrote the following. Oh, is guidance share hijacking our money again? And take a look right here. This is the Twitter account of Andrew, and let's take a look who this Andrew is. If you click on the icon, wait a second. If you click right here, you can clearly see that this is due diligence, and it is this account is protected, and we have at least 3 accounts of due diligence where he active basically 24/7. And let me quote to this. Or is the guidance share hijacking our money again? He should get himself in the middle of everything and thinks he belongs there. Turns out him and most others here are fake, acting. Their inconsistencies tell the truth. Here are 2 his other accounts, and he's got 3 or 4 more. On top of that, Scott responded, thanks, it's his modus operandi, he's in trouble and he knows it. As they say in war, asking people to steal electronically stored data, violate privacy laws, access a controlled private communication space, reproduce the results in return for payment of some kind is a breach too far under the law. I'll just follow the evidence as will more than a few others. And guys, Scott even thinks that due diligence doesn't have any shares. But due diligence just yesterday published this video. It is a 2 minutes long video where he shows his account in Thinkorswim, where he has several thousand shares of next breach hydrocarbons. And basically this proves that he is an MMTLP shareholder, but we know that a lot of people want to act completely different, that want other community members, and I have to admit that due diligence is one of them. Scott Roth is another person who acts as he wants to, and for example, Sam IM or Roman Soups are other people who are acting quite differently. That is why, guys, we cannot prevent them to do it, but at the same time, if the resolution comes from one of these people, every one of us will definitely benefit out of this. And I have to say that a lot of people think that there is a huge problem for MMTLP community to have the similar resolution for the people who transferred their shares to AST and who didn't do this. But I have to say that I think right after the decision is made, when the judge makes his decision, we will have an option to ask the judge to have a fair resolution for all of the MMTLP shareholders. And the same exact statement was made by Rosa Towell. By the way, she became completely inactive basically since the invasion in Gaza. But at the same time, guys, she was the first person who filed the very first lawsuit back in December of 2022. And she has her own YouTube channel. And right here you can see under the live tab folder this video where, wait a second, where in the timestamp of 55 minutes 11 seconds, she mentions exactly this fact, that everyone should ask the judge if the decision is granted for the people who want to see 2 days of trading for MMTLP shares to transfer their shares from AST to their broker dealers. And judge definitely has to make this decision in order to give equal rights for the people who owns the part of this stock. On top of that, the same exact statement was made by Richard Hoffman, and unfortunately I didn't find the exact video where he mentioned about this, but if you want to, you can do it, and you can find this information by yourself. And definitely it is another evidence that everyone will be in the same exact boat, and none of the people from AST community will suffer because they transferred their shares back in the days. So let me show you further. We have the so-called exemption for Statute of Limitations. Unfortunately, it was not unfortunately, but it is what it is. It was published by Sam IM, and she closed her account. She protected her account. As you can see, my request is pending right now. I cannot see her posts anymore, at least for now. But in my yesterday's video, you can find this tweet that I read to you on the timestamp of 12 minutes 24 seconds with the exemption of Statute of Limitations related to the military people. And let me show you that Mark Basil also stated in his Twitter account just yesterday that military service tolls the Statute of Limitations. And on top of that, I found this information, another mention of Statute of Limitations. It is a 50 US Code paragraph 3936 Statute of Limitations. And here you can see under the letter A, tolling of Statute of Limitation during military service. The period of a service member's military service may not be included in computing any period limited by law or regulation in order for the bringing of any action of proceedings in a court or in any board, bureau, commission, department, or other agency of a state or political subdivision of a state or the United States by or against the service member or the service member's heirs, executors, administrators, or assigns. And guys, this is the same, basically the same rule that everyone should have a similar rights in order to protect themselves and in order to have all the benefits for their properties. And that is why we have this exemption. And by the way, guys, take a look right here. Wait a second, I will show you somewhere here. Scott wrote several days ago, wrote this, basically yesterday he wrote this tweet. One army sergeant is considering filing after the dust settles from my outing, but there is always two position clause only, a writ of mandamus. And he is talking about now the potential lawsuit that will be filed by one army sergeant. And potentially, guys, I found this person. As you can see, I showed you this person back in the days in one of my videos. He's MMTLP community members from long ago, and he owns about 20,000 shares at AST, and potentially he will file a lawsuit. I don't know for sure, but probably it is the person who may be this sergeant who will give us the exemption for Statute of Limitations. So, and let me show you another quite interesting update. At this time from Christian Shaughnessy. She reposted the tweet that was originally made by Anna, and let me quote this in details. Anyone have answers for MMTLP investors? And she also added, international trading of private shares MMTLP are reportedly trading on international platforms. despite their supposed private status. Why are no tradable private shares circulating in overseas markets? And let me quote you this tweet that was written by Anna. NBH, what's really going on? Recent updates have raised alarming questions for MMTLP shareholders, for anyone concerned about market transparency. NextBridge Hydrocarbons ownership, confusion. SoFi recently claimed that Metamaterials owns all NextBridge Hydrocarbons shares. Yet, MMTLP holders were told they would receive private no-tradable shares of NextBridge Hydrocarbons. So why is NextBridge now connected to Meta? MMTLP to MMATQ conversion. MMTLP shares were inexplicably converted to MMATQ, Metamaterials ticker, on public.com, an OTC listing entirely unrelated to private NextBridge shares. How did private no-tradable shares become a part of public ticker? International trading private shares, MMTLP shares, are reportedly trading on international platforms despite their supposed private status. Why are no tradable private shares circulating in overseas markets? Transparency failures and system errors. FINRA has cited past so-called coding errors with MMTLP. Now, brokers seem unable or unwilling to explain how private MMTLP shares morphed into MMATQ and are being handled as public shares. These actions demand answers. How did MMTLP shares turn into MMATQ? And guys, I have to say that it is not the first fact where we found out that MMTLP shares were tradable right after the U3 halt. For example, Tiger Brokers allegedly had a set of orders that were executed back in March of this year or 2023. I don't remember the exact date, but nevertheless, it was right after the U3 halt. On top of that, guys, RareDD made his tweet in regards to pretty much the same issue. He wrote, so FINRA slyly admits to creating the language for MMTLP corporate action in their March 16, 2023 FAQ, which corroborated that what John Burda and Palikaras said. But the SEC's CEO is yet to address FINRA breaking their own rules and acting outside of their regulatory authority in doing so. Imagine the impact this could have had on lawsuits involving FINRA's role concerning MMTLP. And in my opinion, this role might be huge. A competent and fair investigation into FINRA's failure to adhere to their Rule 6419 would prove that FINRA was responsible for creating the pretend circumstance that they used to justify U3 halting MMTLP on December 9th of 2022. How can arbitration be fair if this truth is withheld from the process? Who would expect FINRA to voluntarily admit or allow any evidence of this to come to light? Why would the SEC withhold the results of their investigation if their purpose is to protect investors? Could the SEC bringing charges against Burda and Palikaras have anything to do with this? Is it a conflict of interest that Marshall Gandhi of Fort Worth SEC is a former FINRA employee and now high-ranking member of the SEC's Division of Examinations, home of the CEO? And guys, he added several screenshots that proves this theory, and I have to admit that if these facts are true, definitely it is a huge bombshell in our case. And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gon' live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life, I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap.